Welcome to the pod at My Village.
Where we're going to have fun talking all things My Village Ministries, family preservation, and the church's involvement in this important work.
We are Phil and Mel, and we don't know anything about running a podcast, but we know a little bit about family preservation.
Mel, why are you so dressed up?
Because we're going to an event.
I feel...
We did decide that this podcast was going to be jeans, not suits. And this is a real suit vibe.
It is a suit vibe.
We have a fundraiser we're going to tonight. Not our own, which will be nice to not run a fundraiser.
Yeah, it will be nice. I did have to look up again what? Smart Casual?
Yeah.
It's a newer one. I feel like I still have to wear a jacket, though.
Did you bring a jacket?
I did.
Okay.
I got to utilize the jacket that I bought. So.
The suit
but I am wearing
bought?
jeans again. In your face, Jess.
Just rub it in all the time. I think that'll be fine.
Yeah.
If you pulled it off at ours, it'll be,
I won't know anyone there. So
it's a pregnancy center fundraiser up in Toledo. And I do feel like the pregnancy center world, the pro-life world's a little fancier than
that is true. I feel good. I have a jacket. I feel like a jacket covers over a multitude of sins.
It does. Yeah. That's in scripture.
Yeah, it's kind of like love.
Yeah. How are you feeling? I had to do the last podcast intro without you.
Oh,
you
yeah.
recovered?
Morgan did a great job filling in.
She did do a great job.
I got multiple texts saying that you should just stop doing what you're doing.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. It made me feel good in light of how I was feeling that day.
Yeah. Just kicking you while you're down.
Yeah. It was definitely a kick you while you're down.
No. Do you want to tell people what happened to you?
You know, what else do you want to do when you're 45 then get your wisdom teeth pulled?
Can you explain to me how that happened? How are your wisdom teeth still in your mouth
I don't know.
at 45?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it just happened.
I feel like
but it was the worst experience of my life, probably.
There's no way.
What I am looking forward to, and you know this, I always have great video about me.
Yes.
On me when I come out of anesthesia.
Yeah. Why have I not seen that yet?
Well, I only have two smaller clips that are not nearly as funny as. So Nate Lundquist picked me up, and he said, "I think there's one that's like 6 minutes long and one 8 minutes long." He's like, they were too long to send to you, but they are. So we have this like date planned to hang out where all we do is essentially just laugh at me. Stupid things I said. See him but I'm always more friendly when I come out of anesthesia.
You're like extremely, you know how some people like cuss people out and they're kind of mean? You're extremely nice. I've seen the videos.
Yeah.
I've never been around you coming out of anesthesia, but I saw Nate at church the night after and I asked him like, dude, do you have some good videos? And he essentially just started laughing and never answered me when we just like parted ways. Yeah. He was just standing there laughing.
That's all I need to say. The one video they got of me, it was only like a 20, 30-second video. It was after they had brought me in the house. Supposedly Nate had to carry me in on his back into the house.
Did anyone take a video of that?
And I was just dead weight. I don't think anyone did. But Jimmy Schoenfeld, who lives across the street, saw this happening. So he walked into the house too. And so there I am, and everyone's just looking at me. And I just keep pointing at people, and I'm just saying, wow, you're nice. I just kept saying that to everyone.
Why does the hospital release you when you're in that state? You can't walk?
I was at a clinic that literally, like, the moment I woke up, they're like, let's just get him out of here. I literally got pushed out way too soon.
They just roll you to your car?
Like, I mean, just blood everywhere, like gauze. And it was a scene. But Aaron was recalling one thing, too, that they did not get on film that I wish they did. Of like, when Aaron came to meet me out at the car and Nate out at the car to get me out, Aaron's like, because I was just like floppy. I was like, just like, you know, I couldn't, I was just dead weight. And supposedly Aaron was like, okay, maybe we should just count to 3 and we lift him out at the same time. And before they can count to 3, I start counting 4. Then I'm like, 1, 2. Anyways,
I don't know how
watching Aaron describe it was like, it was really hilarious. Anyways, amazing. I'm looking forward to the film.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
And maybe there'll be some put on our podcast at some point. For
maybe there'll be like
enjoyment.
A behind the scenes clip at the end. Extra, like when a Marvel movie, the credits end and there's an extra scene.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Slowly unrolling your video. That's amazing. Well, I have a question prepared for you. I'm going to a concert with your wife and some other people on Friday. We're going to go see Phil Wickham and I forget the name of the concert.
Is that tomorrow?
Friday. Oh yeah, today's Thursday. It is tomorrow.
Carry the one.
When people listen to this, it will be in the past. So my question is, what is the best concert that you've ever been to?
I'm not a big concert person.
Okay.
And I'm going to get totally railed by 14 people by making
The
the
14
statement.
people who
Yeah.
listen to this.
It was a combination of, I am still a fan, but was a huge fan of country
Are you going to
music
say
back in the
LFO
day.
again?
No, I wish. Wow. I wish I could have gone to an LFO concert. Man, I regret everything I've done in my life.
I'll buy you
no,
tickets for your
it was
50th.
Tim McGraw and Dixie Chicks.
Wow. They toured together?
Yep.
Okay.
It was like when Dixie Chicks was just kind of coming onto the scene.
Yeah.
But
So they opened for him.
Yeah, it was solid.
I am not a country music fan, and I've heard of both of those bands.
Wow.
Yeah. So pretty famous.
I went to and I know you're going to a Christian concert.
Yes.
So
Phil Wickham.
Phil Wickham.
It'll be like a worship.
It will
night.
be. I don't know. It was shortly after I moved to Columbus. So probably about a dozen years ago, I went to a Hillsong one at the State Fair.
Okay.
And there was something about it where I just could not get myself into it,
Mhm.
knowing I had to pay to go to worship.
Yeah.
It's something about it
I know you have
was a
feelings
mental
about that.
roadblock that did not allow me to engage in the ways that I would if it was just a normal worship service.
Yeah. So I think I've only been to 2 ever. I went to see David Crowder Band at the Ohio State Fair.
Yeah.
And going into it, I didn't even think of it being like a worship service because of what you just said. It was like I bought a ticket, I'm going to watch a concert. And then I did end up like definitely worshiping someone while I was there. Then I went to see the River Radio concert 2 years ago, maybe. And it was Phil Wickham, Brandon Lake. I don't remember who the other person was. And it was like full on worship the whole time. It was so good. I love like a long extended worship time. So this is the first one I'm going into feeling like it's going to be a worship night and not just I bought a ticket to a concert. I get what you're saying, but I also am never want to miss an opportunity.
I think because of my growth though and my love towards worshiping, I think I'd get over that hump. Especially, I think knowing who you're going with too, it would be enjoyable to go with other people that love to worship. So I'm excited for my wife and for y'all.
And the tickets weren't that expensive. If you think about the money it would take to like travel your whole band and crew around.
Yeah, they got to get compensated.
It's not like we're going to a Taylor Swift concert and she's getting $1 bajillion. Yeah. What was that face? No. Are you going to go to a Taylor Swift concert?
I just.
Who did you go see Tim McGraw and the Dixie Chicks with?
An ex-girlfriend.
An ex-girlfriend. Is it one I know?
Yeah.
I only know one of them.
Okay. There's something so weird about that.
Anyway, I didn't mean to know her.
No, yeah.
It just happened.
It was the Holy Spirit. All right, my question for you, we shall move on. What historical event would you want to participate in? Not observe, not see on the outside, but participate in.
Wow. I immediately thought of like 10 that I didn't want to participate in. Is that fair?
No.
This is gonna sound really weird. I feel, the like Clara Barton Nurse on the War Front.
Yeah.
So this is not a particular war, but I feel like it would have been horrifying, but I also would have loved to be on a battlefield, just like scrappily trying to help save and serve every soldier that comes in from the battlefield. I almost, before I took this job, was going to go back to school and become a nurse.
You would have been a good nurse.
There's something about the intensity and community of that job.
Yeah.
I was talking to my brother-in-law about this. He's a 911 operator. Super intense job, but you're by yourself at a switchboard making decisions.
Yeah.
So I think I could handle the intensity, but I would hate to just sit alone at a switchboard.
Yeah. You'd go
so
nuts.
I think having a job that has a decent amount of like, this is really important, the decisions and the work that you're doing, it's kind of intense.
Yep.
And then also you get to be with people a lot.
Yep.
I think I'd be a good nurse at the war
with
front.
your 2 tendencies, ability to think quickly on your feet, able to handle awkward situations when they arise, you would have been an above average nurse.
Yeah, I'm kind of the like person who's running towards the battle and not away from it to my own detriment.
Yeah.
Jeff is like, for the love.
Hey, you've come out unscathed, right?
Yeah, totally unscathed.
Yeah.
I did lose an organ this year.
Was that because of running into the battlefield?
I mean, one can only assume high levels of stress.
Yeah. It did. I blame MBM.
Yeah.
You should get compensated for that.
Yeah. Are you guys going to pay me for that?
Yeah.
Okay. Really, neither of my questions is that serious. Sorry about that.
Great.
But because we're doing a couple podcasts in a row focused on marriage and you are married, my question for you is if you and Aaron we're going to be a couple on a TV show or movie, what couple are you most like?
On a TV show or movie, Phil Dunphy and Claire.
Yes. Why is that so true?
I am a
He's
little
even
bit
named Phil.
Yeah. He is an idiot.
You're not quite as much of an idiot.
No,
Some of the scenes of him with his son, just like being so
he
dumb.
is like, I'm a different level of idiot. I'm just not smart. I'm not an idiot like him. If that makes sense. I have below average intelligence for a 45-year-old
I don't think
male.
that's true.
I think I do.
Maybe it's because your wisdom
When
teeth
you're
were
weak, you're
still
strong.
Until you were 45.
Maybe. Yeah.
No, I think it's a good comparison. They're definitely a caricature of you because Erin also is not as controlling as Claire is.
But she's organized kind of like her.
She's organized. She like runs the household.
But
I could see
have
her
a good
running
laugh,
a closets
you know?
business. Taking over her dad's industry. No, I think that's a good comparison.
There's unfortunately in today's era of sitcoms, there's just not many married couples. So
I know.
It's kind of hard for me to think through.
Well, and there was a season in the 90s and early 2000s where all the sitcom couples were, the dad was just, it was almost like they just hated each other. They never had sex with each other. They hated each other. The woman just thought the guy was a buffoon. I feel like Modern Family does a good job with Phil and Claire. She does think he's a buffoon. Yeah. But they also seem to have like true affection for each other.
An endearment towards one another.
And every once in a while they'll have an episode where she like really respects him.
He like steps up
that
to the
feels true
plate.
about
Yeah,
you.
it's rare that I do, but when I do, everyone's like, it makes it more impressive when like Phil Dunphy does step up.
You just set the bar real low and then you can easily clear it.
That is amazing that he just did that. What's also sad is that there's no married, there's like no parents married or together, or there's maybe one deceased in any Disney movie now.
Yes.
Like all Disney movies, there's not a married.
Hasn't that been true since Bambi though?
Probably. What is that?
It was immediately true. All of our childhood cartoon heroes were orphans. Mm-hmm. My parents told us they were alarmed at how often we would play orphan. They were like, "Why are we always dead in your like imaginary play?"
Yep. All right, moving on for your second question. It pertains somewhat to marriage. It doesn't have to pertain specifically to marriage, but what's one relationship deal breaker for you? Like this happens, it's like kind of
like if Jeff did this, I might divorce him.
No, just not net. It's like
cheating. Is that the right answer?
Let me maybe phrase it this way. It'd be hard for you to have like a strong, healthy relationship or even a fun relationship, whatever comes to mind. This would be the deal breaker in it for you, where it just would put some sort of wedge in that relationship. Yeah. Like what is it that comes to mind?
Yeah. So Jeff and I actually play this game a lot called He's a 10.
Oh yeah.
Where you're like, he's a 10, meaning on a scale of 1 to 10, like he's the perfect guy for you. But he does this or has this or thinks this. And then you give now the new adjusted number. So Jeff will say she's a 10 about me. Or I'll say that I'll ask him and he'll ask me. So you give each other these scenarios. We've like spent many date nights playing this game and laughing so hard. The classic example is he's a 10, but he always has Cheeto fingers. Yeah. Just like Cheeto dust resides on his hands at all times.
There's something quite humorous about that.
It's really
it
funny.
says so much about that person without having to say anything.
Yes. So you can do all kinds of, she's a 10, but she has a terrible gap tooth, or I gave him she's a 10, but has a mustache that she refuses to do anything about the other day. We got a good laugh over that.
He's a 10, but he like has a tough time with doorknobs.
I don't know anybody who struggles with that that's also sitting in this room.
The person will go unnamed.
So I'm trying to think of a real one because there's all these silly ones like Cheeto fingers or just like funny things that somebody might say. So a real deal breaker in a relationship. Well, I can tell you what almost deal broke our marriage. In 2020, Jeff just had a lot more anxiety about COVID than I did. And I think I put then a lot higher value on being with people. And
than you should have at that time,
Yeah. Well, no, I did it appropriately. Jeff did it wrong. Just for clarity. No, I think I just was like, clearly the mental and spiritual health of being around people is more important than whether or not we get COVID.
Yeah.
people have a lot of opinions about that. I'm not here to like start any
And in the
fights.
moment that it was a tough
Well,
thing.
and originally we were just like hidden away just like everybody else, more nervous about it. But I just did not thrive in that situation and needed to be around people a lot faster. And so I think I like wasn't able to make my brain think that same way of there could be germs everywhere. I like could not I just hadn't been raised that way. I wasn't even thinking about whether or not people had COVID. I would do things without thinking that felt scary to him and then be like, I'm really sorry. I wasn't trying to disrespect you. I just don't. So I think if a deal breaker in a relationship would be maybe a really high anxiety about germs, or I just feel like you won't ever like me because I will not be able to make myself think that way.
Yeah.
And therefore I won't like you because you're always mad at me for not caring about germs. I don't know. Does that make sense? But
it does make sense.
Spoiler alert, we did not get divorced and our marriage is better than ever.
Yeah, praise the Lord. Man, isn't it crazy to think that was 6 years ago? About to the day. We're like right in the beginning throes of it all.
Yeah, you're right.
6 years ago. That's kind of nuts.
That is
praise the
nuts.
Lord. It's 6 years ago now.
Praise the Lord. I know. It was such an interesting time.
I can't get over though. I still keep thinking about he'd be a 10, but he struggles with doorknobs. That's really funny. You have an image of your mind of what that person would be.
Okay, give me the real number. So it's your wife. She's a 10. You love her in every way, but Phil, every time she goes to a door,
she struggles.
It takes her like 8 to 10 seconds to open the door.
Yeah.
What number does that drop to?
I think most of the time when I saw that struggle take place, I think it would be endearing, except in those moments where he needed to get somewhere. It's kind of like, Jeff, why are you such a slow walker?
He is a slow walker. Oh, man.
You constantly just hear the jingling of the doorknob. And you're like, there she goes struggling again.
She'll be here in a few seconds.
She can get it. I know.
Oh, this might be the hardest I've ever seen Ben laugh. It's like wiping tears away.
You can do it, buddy.
For the audience, Ben took quite a while to open the door shortly before we started recording.
It was actually, both you and I were like legitimately concerned from like, there's something.
It stopped our conversation. We actively turned our attention to, are you okay? I might have to let Emily know.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was really good.
God is good.
Should we do like a whole episode of just us playing she's a 10 and he's a 10 with each other?
That would be good. That would be good.
Like, what are your deal breakers?
We may have to play that for like 13 minutes of our drive today.
Yes.
When we get annoyed with each other.
We have a long road trip still to go.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, moving on.
Yeah. We are taking some time coming off our last podcast to focus on how to be healthy in your marriage as you host, which we know is kind of puts your family in this pressure cooker. Added stress, added focus from the enemy, minimal time for you to be together. So we have a couple joining us today, Julia and Peter Zwyth, and they've been a host family for a long time, and we're super excited to hear kind of what some of their secrets are. And I know that we only have one interview planned like this about marriage. I think it'd be kind of cool to do a few later this year too.
Yeah, it would be.
Get some other families in.
And as you were introducing it, you had me thinking of like, I do think that the online training that follows live training is just a really valuable tool to help prep you for marriage and ministry, specifically with hosting. And I would just encourage you, if you haven't really done it, or if you'd love a reminder of it, we would love to point you to that resource. I really do think it is. I recently just went through it not too long ago. And there's just some really valuable stuff in there to help you mentally, not physically, but mentally and spiritually prepare for, especially as it pertains to your family doing it together. So,
Well, it's heavily Bible study based. The portion that talks about like preparing together as a family, which I mean, I would love to do it again with our family. There's never too many times that you can get into the word and readjust your focus on why you're doing this and who's going to give you strength. So,
and here's one of the reasons why our ministry, I think, is unique in the sense of that you're in family ministry, the enemy's going to attack your family. Just will. He will. And so we got to be alert, sober mind, on guard, and be strong in our relationships within our family to thrive within this ministry.
Yeah.
And if not, man, you're gonna have a target on your back. So
yeah. And Scripture's really clear that we should be alert and ready for that kind of attack and for battle that is on that spiritual plane. And all the time, Jeff and I are like, people are nitpicking at each other or being unkind or whatever, and we're like, oh man, we forgot to even recognize that we're in this battle for our own marriage and family while we then go out and serve.
Yep.
So,
and if done even moderately well, your marriage will strengthen as you serve in this ministry. It will. I can almost guarantee that if you are just at least somewhat a little bit intentional with it within the midst of a hosting. So excited for y'all to hear from the Zwyths.
Yep, we'll be right back. Yep.
Welcome back. We've got some experts here with us. We got the Zwyths, and so we're excited to hear from them. But we got a couple questions for you, real questions before we get into like the secondary questions that aren't as important.
Sure.
Before I kind of have you introduce yourself, I know that you're big gamers. Okay, so what is your favorite card game and then board game?
And video game.
Wow,
lots of games.
That's pretty easy. Halo is my favorite video game.
Do you play that too, Julia?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
We have a Halo party once a year.
Wow. I'm one of those wives who like pretended to like video games when we were dating, and then was like, as soon as we had kids,
no.
I'm not.
Who gets invited to this highly coveted Halo party?
I want to be in your group.
It's exclusive.
Okay,
it's a group that, I mean, it's gotten a little bit bigger every year, but we are kind of like stuck at like 16 people to fit in a lobby. But we get like eight or nine TVs and Xboxes together. We just kind of like play Halo all day. Mostly people from our church. It started out as like a birthday thing between me, my brother-in-law, and our friend. We all had birthdays within a week of each other. And so then we stayed up all night to play Halo. And then we did it again the next year. And then we were like, okay, this is crazy. Let's just do it all day after that.
Let's do it. Nighttime is too crazy.
Those things that like organically grow into something like that are actually really special.
Yeah. And we're really sad because it would have happened right after Jesse was born. Yeah. So we had to like postpone it. We're hoping to do it later this year.
We're trying to wait a whole year.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
So because we love to talk about food, what are the snacks and food served during this
tradition? That's a great question.
We always get pizza for like dinner.
For dinner.
Like
Dewey's usually.
Yeah.
Solid. Brian's Inferno?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Dr. Dre is mine.
Dr. Dre is
my choice.
my second
That's a good one. And then usually just people bring like fruit and chips and then
Something
there's like
to help.
smack talk in the middle where you're grabbing chips and you're like, our team is gonna beat your team and all that stuff, you know. So it's
like
good
a
snack break.
Smack.
Yes, exactly.
It's good.
Last year, Mark Furch brought bacon wrapped jalapenos, and those were
Can't go wrong with that.
no.
Did he make them himself?
Yeah.
That's a labor intensive snack.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
So then, card and board games. What's your card game?
Euchre
of
is
choice?
probably our
Yeah.
go-to card game, but you
Yeah.
have to have like 4 people for
We
that.
play with my brother and his wife a lot.
Yeah.
Just wait till your kids are older. You just raise your own card playing
Yeah.
There you go.
friends.
And then board game, that's tough. We play a lot.
Wingspan is probably our most like consistent game we've played
I didn't
together.
even know that one.
It's about birds.
Yeah.
A lot about birds.
What game?
When you
that I
turn
would
in
know
your
is it most
40s, it
similar?
becomes way more attractive. All things birds. You become a bird watcher. You
I
play
actually
birds.
did hear
exactly.
a bird the other day and thought, that sounds nice. I was like, no, I'm not going to be a bird watcher.
You are. It's slowly
That
happening.
is a fun one. I played that a couple times. That's a good one.
What game that I know is it most similar to? That I would know.
What games do you know?
No, you know. You can figure it out. Catan? Is it like Catan?
No.
There's really nothing like
Yeah.
Is it like Uno?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
It's like war.
I'm picturing bird Uno.
It's very similar to war.
No. Plus Catan. No.
What game are you most like into right now? Like if you had to pick up a board game to play right now, is there one that you're like?
I've been really liking Harmonies. Although I'm really bad at it, so I don't
Harmonies
like
is
that.
heard of that
so.
one.
It's pretty new. You're like kind of building these little habitats for creatures, but like you're also trying to make your habitat high scoring. So like you're kind of fighting against two different objectives to try and maximize.
Yeah.
Very, very much a strategic game.
Yes, it is way more strategic than you'd think.
Yeah.
Like just picking it up.
Yeah, it's like small box and doesn't look like that intimidating, but it's pretty big in.
Have you ever thought about pulling like a Parks and Rec and creating like your own game?
My brother-in-law has
New
done a
Girl
couple of
playing
game jams
True American
where they
or
try and
whatever
do
it's
that. And he ends up now he's like running more like a couple of D&D campaigns to kind of get that like creative
Juices
going.
going.
Yeah. I don't think I could ever. I would never be able to match the Cones of Dunshire. That's a lofty
so
goal.
good.
That is quite lofty.
But like, there's a game called Twilight Imperium that we played that is on that, nearing that level of complexity. Okay. It takes us a whole day to
it's
play.
a whole planning. Have childcare set aside.
Yeah.
Usually we break it into like 2 days now. I don't really play this game.
You've played it a couple times, and you've won a couple times.
Both times I've played, I've won, and so now I'm done with it.
Yeah, it's best to keep your
100%.
record perfect.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, did you both have an affinity towards games before you got married, or was this something that one influenced the other?
I think
is
it
it
was
why you fell in
more
love?
like my brother-in-law and his wife played a lot of games, invited
Yeah.
us into playing games, and then that kind of...
Yeah.
So you both kind of grew into it after marriage.
And
Yeah.
my growth was probably slower. Like now I like board games a lot, but it took me time to like learn and like it
Yeah.
a little more.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we played a board game together at that Stream conference.
Yes.
2 years ago, a year and a half ago. Clue, murder mystery.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, something
It was
like
kind of like Mafia mixed with Clue.
that. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we were coming off
Social
like,
deduction game.
real spiritual conference that I was leading, and I won because it relies on lying. And I think you guys like did not think that I would be that good at lying.
You were good online.
That's kind of.
I feel like your daughter thought it was me the whole
to
time.
talk to her
though.
about it.
Yeah,
She was like, no,
yeah,
it's not
that is
me.
part
I'm
of the
like, it's
problem.
not.
Is I
Yeah.
like had to lie to my own kids,
Yeah.
and then that kind of
That's
broke
problem.
trust forever.
Yeah, exactly.
But it stays in the board game, right? It's part of the board game.
It was worth the win.
Yeah, yeah, I have no regrets.
You have to teach your kids the harsh realities
Forever
of life.
damaged my relationship with my kids, but I won.
We also played this game with my siblings that's like a Survivor. Do you guys watch Survivor?
I used to. But,
It's like a Survivor card
Type of
game.
game.
But it relies on the same thing. You build alliances with other people in the room and then vote each other off. And I also damaged all my relationships.
You're
Just lied
competitive now.
I'm so competitive. I actually shy away from games because I've been embarrassed in the past.
How competitive
Yeah.
you got. Yeah.
You know when
That's-
people are like,
that's a
Mel,
gro-
be cool.
Growth opportunity.
I'm not cool.
Growth
So
opportunity.
I had to stop playing.
No, thanks so much for joining us today. We're excited to hear more from you. Love to just start just hearing a little bit of your story. It's kind of your family makeup, where you go to church, how you got into MVM, and a little bit of what your hostings have looked like. So a lot there. So if you forget any, I'll fill you in later.
Do you want me to start?
I can start.
Okay.
So we go to Veritas, Short North. Not Short North, Tri-City.
Also, your name is Julia Zwyth.
what
My
am I
name's
supposed to
Peter
say?
Zwyth.
Okay.
We never introduced you. That's really on us.
I think I said this with, did I not?
No, you
I?
didn't.
We'll find out.
But also,
find
I think you thought you were asking a really short question, and we bantered for 15 minutes. So now we're 15 minutes in, and their
All right,
names are
cool.
Peter and Julia Zwyth.
I'm Julia, and this is Peter, and we're married. We've been married for
Coming on 11 years.
11 years. We just had our third little baby, 3 girls. And
They're 4, almost 3, and now 3 months old.
yeah. And we first got it started with My Village when it was Safe Families. I think in like 2018 or 19.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I think.
Yeah,
One of our
you guys are one of our
first
long-standing.
was family.
Yeah. And I think I first started coaching. I think that was the first thing I did. And we obviously did, just like everyone else, did the training and then like took forever to actually like finish the process.
Yeah, you have any tips for us there? Like, why does it take so long?
Just keep
People
on
have commitment
playing.
issues.
Yeah, I think they're like, I think people are just like really excited about it, and then they like go to do all these things, and you're like, oh wow, I have to like be organized and like get all this stuff done. I can't just like go to the training. I have to do other stuff too.
If you run it like one of those like sad like pet adoption places where you have like some of the kids at a training, that might.
So good.
That's the best and worst idea anyone's ever had.
Terrible.
Yeah. No, we do joke a lot though about how the very best host families are the ones that are terrible at getting their stuff turned in, because there's something about your just like flexibility with rules that makes you okay with a little chaos in your home.
Yeah. And then do you want to tell a little bit about hosting?
Yeah. Honestly, you probably have a better memory about this than I do. We've hosted, like 8 to 10 kids, a couple of kids more than 2 or 3 times. Most have been just once. We've hosted, I think, from like a couple nights or a week to, how long was Amila? Like 3 months?
Yeah,
4
I think
months?
our longest hosting was like 3-ish months.
Okay.
Yeah. So a variety of things.
Yeah. And I think as young as like 18 months. And then I think 14 years.
Yeah.
I think is the oldest. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and you guys started out hosting and you didn't have any of your own bio kids.
Right.
And so your whole kind of journey of becoming parents has been mixed in with hosting. Have you hosted between each kid, or did you ever take like a really long break?
We're not known for taking breaks with pretty much anything.
Not great at taking breaks.
So we kind of, our thing is really just like if we hear or see something come along, then we'll pick it up. We also like are restricted in a lot of ways because we both work full time. So that doesn't allow us to take up every single hosting. So I think when we do see the opportunity, we're like, oh, okay, cool, we can actually do this. I think after our first girl we hosted, I think she was about 6 months old. And then I think...
When we hosted Kai.
Yeah, and then I think with Joelle, it was also because I think it was Mila, and I think she was probably about 6 months old. That was a little crazy because we had like a toddler-ish kid, like our oldest girl, and then both the girl we hosted and our youngest like couldn't walk. So then we're like stuck carrying like 2 kids around.
Yeah, well, your toddler just refuses to
Yeah,
listen,
exactly.
I say.
And then we haven't hosted with her last yet, so.
Yeah, well, it's only been 3 months.
Exactly.
Seems like the pattern.
Yeah, we can take a little break.
text you in
We
3 months.
are a little stuck now because we have one car for the 5 of us. There's no more
That'll
car
do
seat
it.
space.
Yeah.
What originally drew you to My Village, and then what drew you to becoming a host family? Was that something you had to kind of work towards in unity within your marriage to agree on?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I think we both, I can't remember exactly how I first heard about Safe Families or My Village. But I think like I got to see like Kara Carnes with one of their host kids. And it just really struck me that it was a really practical thing, a serving opportunity that we had, or that is presented to us. And then it just seems like a really great way to like build the kingdom here and now while we wait for the true kingdom to come. So those were kind of reasons that really struck me. And I think we just had conversations. I mean, in general, we were in alignment about like that it's really cool kingdom work. And I think especially when we started, we were at a point where we didn't have kids. We were kind of like, okay, well, how does this work? But I think we have the capacity to do it. We had 2 extra bedrooms in our house at the time. Like, we're like, how can we use what we've been given to serve? And so I think that's kind of what led us to pursue this.
Mm-hmm.
So you coached first.
I think so, yeah.
Did you feel left out of her getting to the ministry and like, we got to do something together? Or
No, I'm not that gifted. And then honestly, like how our first hosting kind of shook out, I was heavily involved, more so than Julia, because I had like just lost my job with COVID. And then we find out that this 14-year-old kid or 13-year-old at the time, I don't remember, was like, okay, well, we need to get him in school. And then I was in charge of all of that, like getting him in school, getting him his scholarship with the state, figuring out so much of that stuff. And so, yeah, I was definitely not left out.
And the kid was like really obsessed with Peter too.
Yeah.
So he would just like
we
follow
started
Peter
hosting.
around. So
Little
that
shadow.
one was interesting because like I was a lot more
Yeah, it was a lot more heavy
like
lifting
hands
for-
off because
Yeah.
he like if
He like wouldn't talk to you.
yeah,
Basically.
I mean that's not really true, but he would just like follow Peter, like Peter, what are you doing? Peter, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Just like constantly.
Does it make you happy or slightly bitter that we now have a resource coordinator on staff who can help with all those things that it sounds like you were doing that I don't think we'd ask host families to do anymore?
I mean, it's just is what it is, right?
Yeah.
You went before
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
those to come after you.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
part. It was part of the process, right?
Yeah, his was a very unique situation.
Yeah.
So we were like doing extra steps to make sure he had everything set up. So
What did your families think when you said you were going to host kids in your home?
I think the first hosting was like pretty shocking because it's supposed to be longer term, and I think his family was like really on board with it and like,
Yeah.
oh, cool, like this is a lot, but this is cool. And then I think my family was just more like maybe confused, like.
Yeah.
They just didn't know much about my village and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're super supportive and care a lot, but I think more confused of like, you're doing this like really hard,
Yeah.
scary thing.
Yeah, I did your home assessment, and I was new to staff. You might have been the first home assessment I ever did, so I will never forget it. A few things stood out to me. One, they were rolling their own sushi, which I was so impressed by. You had like, I got there and you had just like a million vegetables and fish and seaweed wraps out on the counter. That's
great. I
Rolling
love
your own
that.
sushi. You had somebody living with you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they, like a young adult,
Yeah.
and they spoke so highly of you guys and just your heart for ministry and how compassionate you are. I think that was what it was specifically. I asked some question about if you thought it'd be hard to stay compassionate in long-term relationship. And you guys gave some really modest answer. And this person that was living in your house, who I don't know who they are, was like, let me just interrupt. This is like the most compassionate couple I've ever met. Like, to a fault. They will be too compassionate.
Oh, that's
So
very sweet.
they spoke very highly of you.
Very
But the
kind
thing
of
that stuck out the most is that in your basement you had a massive table saw,
Yep.
and it was not anywhere on my list. It was not like a fire hazard. It was not.
I like to
knife.
break the mold, you know?
Yeah. So it being my first home assessment, I was like, I don't know what to check
Like,
mark.
it's not safe, but it
Yeah.
not safe.
It's not on my list, but it feels like no child should be around. So I think we just figured out how to lock the door at the top of the basement.
Yeah, something like
Something
that.
like that.
But then you do like building carpentry type stuff.
Yeah.
And in your first hosting with that teenage boy, was he really interested in that? Like wanting to see you build stuff, trying to help?
Yes. The problem was he was very clumsy.
So you didn't let him man the table.
No.
Correct. No, that would have been bad.
So there was actually a project that I brought him with me on. Well, it was like in our basement. I was demoing a wall. So I was like, okay, this is like, I think you can handle this. And then I gave him like a hammer, and then he was just like missing every time. Like, I was like, I don't know.
The wall?
Yeah, like
That's concerning.
I was like, I don't know if we should be doing this.
Gosh.
So we figured out. I tried to like, yeah. I included him. He got some like hands on. I think he got bored after a little bit. So
Yeah, he got bored quickly.
but yeah, it was kind of like, oh boy, what are we doing here?
Yep.
It's amazing. Well, we're glad you said yes.
Yeah.
So then let's get a little bit more into marriage. Now we've got a good context for how you said yes and what it looked like at the start. And I think just because we already talked a little bit about your kids being born throughout, has there been any ways you've seen your marriage shift and change as you've added your own bio kids while continuing to do this ministry?
I think it's put me in the place of like asking a lot of questions about like how we love our kids and other kids. Like, should there be any differences between how I love my kids versus other kids?
That's good.
And I'm like, if you're a Christian, maybe not. And I think we often do practically like love our own kids more than other kids. And that's fair. I'm not,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
no
not
one can
like
fault you
stepping
that.
on that. But I think it's just like, I think it's more of like thoughtfully. I think a lot about that stuff of like, what does it mean to love more than just my biological kids? And sometimes that means like they get a little bit less of me. And I think that's hard because we're like, oh, family first, always. But I think I hope I'm showing my kids like, yes, you are important, but also this other human is important too. And so you have all the resources you need. And so I'm just going to take a little bit of time away from you, sadly, and good, to focus on something else.
Yeah.
So I hope they see that.
Yeah. Do you feel like once you had BioKids, it expanded your kind of understanding of how to love the kids coming to your home, or made it harder because now you're wrestling with...
Right, the division of it.
I think probably more the first, especially when I see maybe like the gaps in the love that they might receive from their parent. To not necessarily any fault of their parent, but just like the level of resources that we have lets us love our kids in a certain way. The level of resources their biomom might have, prevents some level of the same showing of love. But like, I mean, especially with one of our kids, just like, or one of our hosted kids, like I feel a lot more for like how they're loved by their parent because of the situations that we've kind of encountered. And it breaks my heart a lot knowing how like important loving your kids is. And I feel that a lot more with our kids, right? I know how important it is to love them, how important it is to talk to them, to have conversations, to just be there for them. And then when I see those things not happening with a hosted kid, it hurts, and it makes me kind of put a little extra into like how I'm interacting with them and just trying to be present and be there for them, be stable for them.
Yeah, we talk a lot about what kids really want is their parent, but they want them healthy.
Yeah.
And so I think hosting gives us an opportunity, and it does expand your view when you're a parent too. Hosting gives us an opportunity to walk alongside their parent because they don't want to be taken and loved by another parent. That's awesome that you're able to play that role when they're in your home. But they want their parent to get to a point where they can love them in that same way and have kind of the space and margin and health to be doing that really well. And
for sure.
Yeah, that's some of the work that you guys are doing.
What were some of the challenges you noticed right away, specifically in your marriage, when you welcomed this ministry of interruption into your life? Were there some unique challenges that came by the way of hostings? I'll preface it by also saying this. I think what I've seen time and time again, anecdotally in my own life when we've hosted in our home, but I think also with other host families that we observe, we're in essentially a family ministry, right? We're doing family preservation. But I think the enemy oftentimes uniquely then attacks marriages. So did you find that play itself out in any maybe unique ways that you weren't expecting when you first started hosting kids?
I think I'm maybe more of the one like likely to say yes and be like, hey, Peter, let's do this. I mean, not like saying yes without him, but like more so of that. And so like one unique challenge I can remember was like, I, got a text that said like, oh, hosting this kid or something. I think it was maybe with a kid we already has. I can't remember exactly the situation. And I was just like, man, this is too much. But, I'm going to tell Peter. And my thought in my head was like, oh, Peter's going to be like, yeah, you're right. Like, this is a lot. We don't need to do this. And so like, almost like playing the game in my head already, like set up for like, we're not going to do this hosting. So I brought it to Peter, and Peter was like, yeah, that sounds like we can do that. And I was like, excuse me, like that was not part of...
Dude, I was counting you to be the no guy.
Right, exactly. So like, I think that boils down to like expectations of like, a lot about your spouse, But like I think this ministry, like we're constantly like surprising each other where like, oh, we think that person's gonna do this or that, and they're like, oh wow, you have a lot more of this than I thought, or like grace towards this kid, or actually maybe you have a lot more anger than I thought, because like you're like, this is pushing us to the edge of stuff. So I think like the expectations is very interesting.
I would love to ask a question off that. That's interesting you bring that up. And I doubt you'll remember much of this at all, but we have online post-training that you are supposed to go through. And a part of that is to help build an expectation of what a hosting looks like and how to build healthy expectations within your marriage, and then also if you have kids. But if based upon some of those things you learn in regards to expectations, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Right.
So for that host family out there, that soon-to-be host family that is going through the process, what would you encourage them to talk through in regards to here's what to expect, or here's things that you should be aware of within your marriage as a hosting begins? Let's have healthy, appropriate expectations of what we're getting into, the challenges that will come with it, the highs, the lows, everything in between.
I think like the biggest, or one thing that's coming to mind is like, expect that there are going to be things that bother you, and expect to just deal with them. And like, just don't like try and find the root cause of like the problem. Just deal with it, roll with it, and expect to give, especially your spouse, like a lot of just grace and I don't know, not like giving them a pass, but just like working through whatever thing is kind of bothering you at that point. Like just kind of just roll with it.
So where in your marriage you might typically be like, why did you say that thing that way? Let's pursue that and figure it out between us. There could just be an element of the enemy's attacking us, or this is really hard, and so I'm just going to let go the fact that your voice was kind of short with me, or or whatever it is that might be hitting you sideways, and say like, okay, we can. If that continues to be a pattern after hosting, then maybe we deal with that. But right now, it's probably tied to the fact that our family's in the pressure cooker.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And then, like we talk a lot about like us being a team together, our kids being a team, and then us being a team as a family. Good language, yeah. And so, like, when we're a team together with a hosting, like, I think that almost, like, allows us to be like, okay, how are we going to manage this together versus, like, separately? Yeah. Like, it's a shared goal. I mean, you think about, like, career or something like those are a lot of times separate goals. Like, with hosting, it's very shared. Like, we have the same exact goal that we have to, like, reach together.
And I'm, like, thinking about, like, chores. Like, I am generally a person that is kind of chore blind, to a fault.
That's convenient.
And I'm working. I know, right? Hypothetically.
I'm not thinking all about gender roles right now. Just keep going.
No. This is all hypothetical. And so like, I try to do extra like be extra thoughtful during a hosting, but like I'm obviously going to have shortcomings. So I think Julia might during a non-hosting might be more likely to like have a conversation with me like kind of in the moment and kind of work through things. But like during a hosting, there's probably gonna be less of that. It's probably just gonna be like, I'm just gonna pick it up and do it anyway because it needs done. Like we don't have time to like fight about, oh, the chore has to get done. It has to get done. We're just gonna deal with it.
Would you say, I like, again, the team idea, that concept. What are the markers that you look for or that you focus on to ensure that you're a good team within your marriage, and then maybe even with I know your kids are a little bit younger, and so that may be hard to maybe kind of verbalize and work out with your kids, but maybe specifically for you, what are the markers in your mind that indicate we are a strong team that maybe is unique to when a hosting's taking place as opposed to kind of like normal everyday life?
I think talking, like we do a lot of pillow talk. So we often during hostings get less sleep, not because of the kid, but because we're staying up late. Processing and like, oh, what are we going to do about this? Or like, what's God's intention? Where is God? What is going on? Like just, nothing big, just everything.
Yeah.
So, right, like in every way, like it is big because like we're trying to like figure out the world. It's like, okay, that, you know, at midnight it's not the best time to figure out the world, but
You're like solving the deep issues
Yeah,
of the Lord
exactly.
that you wouldn't
But-
be thinking of if you didn't have this 2-year-old in
Yeah.
your house.
Yeah.
But like
Exactly.
it does help reframe and
Yeah.
bring us to the same page of like, oh yeah, what we're doing is kingdom work. It's important. That's why we're doing it. We just got to keep doing it.
yeah,
A
I
lot
think
back to the why.
Yeah.
I think we talk about the why a lot, and once we start like villainizing like each other or
Yep.
the mom or the kids, like that's where it's like, okay, that's not good. Like
Yeah.
that is not the purpose of, you know.
And you would say not that it's always easy to receive feedback from I think it's hardest to receive
Yeah.
feedback from your spouse than anyone else. I think oftentimes it can be the case.
I don't know.
At least in our marriage.
Jeff said I was great at
Yeah, no,
feedback.
yeah, that is true. No, but I think, so are you kind of giving, if this makes sense, permission to each other to say, you like call it, like if I'm off, call it out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, is there that kind of like spirit that you have amongst yourself, maybe even more so in the midst of a hosting, knowing that it is just, the pressure cooker is just a real thing.
Sure.
It's a hot place to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think like, especially during those Pillow Talk sessions, I maybe I'm idealizing myself, but I think I'm like, okay, tomorrow's game plan. Is there anything I can do? What can I do better tomorrow? Sure. You know, things like that. I think I'm looking to be more of a team player the next day and the next day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know we joked about like the pressure of being the couple that we picked to have this conversation with, that because all of us our marriages are a work in progress. But I do think there's something really special about the pillow talk thing you're talking about. It is really easy in my marriage when we're going through a stressful time to say, that day was really hard, let's put on a show and laugh. And we do love to laugh together.
Yeah.
But I think there's something special about the fact that you guys are coming back to the why. You're taking time to talk out what happened in the day. You do have, I think, more limited times to have those in-the-moment conversations like you were alluding to, Peter. So the fact that you circle back to them instead of just letting them kind of bother you until the hosting's over, I think is really healthy and a great practice for people to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Julie, for you, as you know, oftentimes in this ministry, we're serving single moms.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that weight within that parental relationship falls upon the wife, you know, of the host family. Are there things that specifically maybe are needed from Peter to support you well in the midst of that work, specifically in hosting?
I feel like that's always been the tricky part. Like the women in this ministry just often do more, right? Like often they're staying at home with the kids, they're communicating with the mom. And so we've kind of tried to brainstorm like, okay, how can you be more involved in that? And it's just tricky because the moms are not always comfortable with that. For me, I'm just like setting reminders on my phone to like text the moms and follow up with them or something like that. So maybe just more of, I mean, I'll talk to him about like, oh, like I had this conversation with the mom. Mm-hmm. So like he'll help me process through that. But sometimes I'm like just so in the thick of it.
Yeah.
Of like texting back or calling that I'm just like, I don't even like know what happened or
So that processing is valuable to do.
yeah, I think the processing is kind of the biggest thing.
Yeah. I was gonna say like setting aside, I mean, even if it's after you guys, you know, sit in bed, like just be aware, be awake and willing to talk. You know, or the pro move, you know, give some foot rubs while she processes and
Exactly.
yeah, I think just being ready to spend some time letting her chat and process is
I'm a very external processor.
I think that's what Julia needs. That may
Yeah.
not be true for every, you know,
Sure.
every marriage out there, but that's what Julia needs.
Yeah. Would you find yourself in situations where you oftentimes need like that extra 30 minutes to be able to jump on the phone with that mom in the evening, and it's like kind of during bedtime routine, like even practicals? Do you notice like
I think
areas
there
where
have
like he needed to
been-
kind of like pick up the slack, maybe in some of the chores, but just like the practical day to day, you know?
Yeah, I think both with hostings and not with hostings, like we very much have this like agreed upon of like, hey, I'm done with this kid or whatever.
Sure.
I need a
And
break.
I'm walking out. And so that might be a phone call of like to also like, hey, I'm on the phone. You got this. And I think that's a very like trusting thing we have. And like we've talked about that before of like, hey, when we say I'm done, you're just gonna have to believe I'm done. Even though like, you know, yes.
I think you could go a little longer.
Right. Like, you know, you just don't
Seems like it's
question
going
it.
well.
Right. You just don't question it. You just say like, okay, you're done
Yeah.
and you know, pick it up. So
Yeah. Besides making time for pillow talk, what are some other healthy rhythms you guys have seen help your marriage be healthy during a hosting? Is there anything else that you have there?
I think the thing we kind of chatted about last night was like we try not to stop our community involvement when we have
That's
a
really
hosting. During the summers, we play softball. If we have a kid with us, we take the kid to softball, right? Maybe we have to figure out a way to have a little childcare, you know, there, but we try to make that happen. We take them to church with us. You know, we take them to board game night. We've gone camping with them, right? Yeah. So we try not to stop the things that we're actively involved in with the community that is helping us host, right? They also want to see us host the kid, right? Like that's why they're our partners.
Yep.
Yeah, our lives are very like community focused in general. Like we're hanging out with community usually multiple times a week, which again that also becomes our like care community when we're hosting.
Yeah.
And so to like have it all year around be the same people is just super encouraging and helpful and they have wisdom for you. I mean, same with like being a couple. I think hanging out with other couples, like other healthy couples of like, oh yeah, you know what it's like to have a chore blind husband or whatever, like whatever you need to like kind of.
I've actually never heard the phrase chore blind, but I'm pretty excited to start using it.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts for Jeff.
Yeah, so I do think like there's never a time with hosting that we're like, okay, we're going to host during this time, or we're not going to host during this time. We're like pretty much open all the time, unless we have like a week of vacation. But other than that, like it's pretty much fair game. Yeah,
I love that mindset because as almost you're saying, it's easy for us to be resolved in saying the ability to say yes because I think probably a part of that is you. It sounds like you're committed to community, like no matter what, and you know that even though you bring disruption in your life by the way of a kid. It's not you're not going to allow that to disrupt what everyday life looks like, right? Because that is where you find life. That's where you find the abundant life is in the bride of Christ, in community, and in fellowship in that way. I think that's a very good practical thing. I think to encourage all current host families or future host families with, you don't necessarily need to put your whole life on hold. No. Nor should you. No. It's healthy for you and it's healthy for the kids that you're hosting
and
to
like,
experience it.
We've found so much more conversations with like people because all of a sudden we have another kid with us. Yeah. And so people are like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like,
it does present opportunities.
Yeah, it presents opportunities to share the Lord and share about my village and just share about this cool thing that we're doing. And the kid gets to experience
the community.
All these things.
Yeah, and I think you're also growing a muscle of when we walk through something that's maybe more challenging than our everyday life, we don't isolate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, which is something that we can tend to do when we walk through hard things outside of hosting too. Yeah. And you guys have built in this rhythm of, nope, we're in community, rain or shine.
Yeah.
I think that's a super healthy practice.
And I think, go sorry.
I was just going to tell a quick story of, we took a kid recently to softball, like in the last year or something. And so the kid got to know like our whole softball team and specifically one player on our team was just like super loving and super kind towards the kid. And, you know, they were messing around and like having fun, right? And then like a week later, the mom texted me and was like, hey, so we ran into like a softball player at like the gas station.
Really?
And so it was like the funniest thing because the bio mom and her kid was there. And my friend, who the mom didn't know at all, was like, oh, hey, you know, and said the kid's name and was like, how's it going? And the mom was like, what is going on? Why does this strange person know you? And she was just like, oh, you're from softball. And she was super, you know, kind. It was not trying to be creepy at all. And later on, I was able to tell the mom, like, oh, yes, I know her. And they met at softball. And she's really kind and stuff. And so, like, community is all around us. And so that person who doesn't have any involvement with my village whatsoever was able to make another impact on this kid of being like, hey, I know you and you're a cool kid. And now that kid gets to experience like, oh, I know people and they think I'm cool, right?
Yeah.
Well, it goes a long way for a mom to see another adult like being affectionate and kind towards their kid. And that shows value to that family.
I also appreciate it seems like you're not, there's no timidity on your part to be able to utilize your care community. And I think there can be a tendency with some host families is like, no, we signed up for this, so we're supposed to carry this load. And you're saying, no, we don't have to carry this load on our own.
Yeah.
We have our church to support you. And I'm sure that's supported you in your marriage and your family as you host. So just that practicality again of like utilizing your care community. Yeah. We can't overstate that enough, just how valuable that is.
Yeah, and like going back to the marriage, like our marriage is not us doing it together. It's us doing it with our community. And I remember this is like years ago, maybe like our 2nd anniversary or 3rd anniversary. And I had some friends over, like couple friends over, and made like a extravagant meal for them. And they're like, are you announcing that you're like pregnant or like what is going on? Like, cause you did this whole elaborate thing for our anniversary, like for us. And I was like, no, I did this purposely because like our marriage also depends on like you guys. Like we're all in this together.
We celebrated together,
and like
that's good.
I wanted to show them like, hey, I value you guys and your marriages because every day you guys are teaching me how to be a better wife and significant other. So
if marriage is a reflection of God's love for the church, it should be on display.
Right.
Like not in a boastful way, but it should be on display. It's a special thing. And in so many ways, that's what I hear you saying. Like our marriage is just, it's here for our community and for people to see. So
do you feel like somebody taught you guys that communal take on marriage, or it's something the Lord has really pressed on your hearts together?
I don't know. I think it's just kind of organically grown, especially as I've been in such close community with my siblings over the last, decade at this point. A lot of things that they've dived into theologically have kind of come back to us, and we've had a lot of great like conversations and just working through difficult things together, working through difficult situations in the world as they arise. Like just, I think it's just kind of all organically grown a lot. So hopefully we're not just in a bubble, but yeah, I think.
Yeah, it's really cool. Do you think during hosting it's more important that you laugh together or cry together?
I feel like we probably laugh more than cry together.
Yeah.
Just because it's just so ridiculous. So
you gotta.
Yeah, you have to.
like you're just like, I don't know. I like, this is not with the hosting, but like I've recorded all my kids crying in the car the other day when like Peter left because he had like band practice. And I just like, I wasn't upset about it. I just kind of thought it was hilarious because it was like every single kid is like screaming their head off right now. So you just kind of have to like, that's kind of how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely laugh together a lot, but I also cry a lot.
Yeah, fair.
Well, any other last words of advice that you would give a couple who's like, maybe even marriage is a little tricky for us. Not like our marriage is falling apart. We would not recommend that you start hosting
don't fix
right
it
now.
with hosting, no.
Yeah.
But like maybe their hesitancy is sometimes marriage feels a little hard or parenting feels a little hard, and so we're just gonna wait till that gets better to say yes to hosting.
I mean, again, I think I would just go with community because like if you feel like you're hiding a secret and like bringing it out into the light is always just like so much greater because then you actually start finding out like people struggle with the same stuff, and then you can actually like be vulnerable with those hard things and hopefully work through them instead of just ignoring it. But
Yeah, I mean, I think being on the same page about why so many things in our lives are because it's kingdom building or because it's how we are trying to serve God or trying to bring ourselves in alignment with God. And not trying to like toot our own horn or anything, just because we are in alignment on a lot of those things. We talk a lot. And I mean, not just pillow talk, we end up talking about, I mean, that's kind of how our relationship started, was like late night chats in a car after you drop me off from work.
Right.
We just sit in a car talking for hours. As like when you can have that alignment, I think it helps you put your lives in focus, put like the resources that you have, comparison with others who have not, like in focus. It helps you realize like the purpose of this life, the time we have on this earth, and the future looking of the perfect kingdom with Christ. Like all of those things make us say yes to hostings, right? It's not,
That's good.
Yeah.
it's not, well, what are we, we're not trying to like fill a hole in our lives or something. We're trying to,
Or check a box.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
we're trying to expand like the ways that we can interact with the kingdom. So yeah, I mean, hosting alone won't like help your marriage, but being in alignment on maybe why you're hosting or why you're here, why you have this opportunity. I think those are really good questions to ask and conversations to have.
Yeah, that's good.
I thought maybe the last question, I don't know. But what is the joy that you each specifically find in hosting? Like it can't be just a thing of obedience. Like
Yeah.
there's some
Yeah,
joy.
yeah.
yeah, I think it's really hard because like in some ways there's like very little joy, right? Because like you see the practical side of like, oh, maybe this kid doesn't have the resources that I have for my kid, or
We're not sure if the mom is really gonna like meet her goals.
right. Like she's just struggling a lot, right? Like it's just hard to watch people go through hard things, if that's your friend or your spouse or, a biological mom that you're serving. It's just hard to watch them go through hard things that you don't have any control over.
I can say one joy that I find is like seeing our kids wrap around the family or wrap around the kids and like engage with hosting as a process and understand why we're doing it and like just love on the kids. I find a lot of joy in that, in seeing how they're interacting with Christ.
Yeah.
At such a young age.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time I was taking the kids to the library or something, and one of the kids was having a really hard time being with us and just wanted to go back to his mom, and he was just crying. And he's like, 6, 7 years old, maybe a little bit older, and my 4-year-old is just like, it's okay. My mommy and daddy are here to help you. And and I think she said something about like God loves you. And like, wow, my 4-year-old can like verbalize these really
Simple,
real truths.
Basic, truth. Yeah.
Of like, yeah, my mommy and daddy are not here to like take you away or do anything. Like they're here to like love and support you. And so like the fact that my 4-year-old, that's very joyful. Like, wow, what's she gonna think more when she's 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Like what's she gonna know about love?
The fact that a 4-year-old even notices someone else besides them is sad.
Right, exactly.
Already
it's a
impressive.
huge accomplishment.
And let alone knowing how to comfort them in that.
yeah,
That's great.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, we think you guys did an awesome job. Loved having you on the podcast. I think it will serve other couples well in their marriages. None of us are hitting on all cylinders and doing everything perfectly in our marriage, but what a joy it is to have this kingdom mindset. I'm going to keep serving the Lord. I'm going to stay inside the community that He gave me, and I'm going to prioritize marriage. That's not some back burner thing. That is a focus that we want our couples to be able to focus on. So, yep, we're thankful for you guys, and tomorrow's the next day.